Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another live session at Speakers Circle. This is Zaina Rafiq. I am a member. Also, I work with at Speakers Circle with Nancy Ma'am. So, for those of you who are joining us for the live session today, I'd like to say that we are a community platform, and our main focus is learning public speaking skills and communication skills. So, may I know who is watching us today? Can you just type a hi in the comment section. So the chat section is where we will be interacting with you today. There are many live sessions that happen on this YouTube channel on every Thursday. And today we are going to have something really special, something really amazing, and that is poetry recitation session. So now why do we plan to have this session? Because we want to appreciate poetry as an art form, and also when it comes to publicly speaking something, enunciation and the way that you recite a poetry is a very beautiful way of public speaking as well. So today we have three speakers who are going to recite poetry. Without further ado, let's begin with the speakers. The first speaker is someone who is from Ahmedabad. She has done her Masters of Computer Engineering and works as a delivery manager for the Harbinger Group. She has a work experience of 18 years. She likes driving, traveling, and listening to audiobooks. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Dhara Masani. We'll just give Dhara a moment till she adjusts her technicalities. Till then, everyone can type in the chat box, and let's see who is here and let's interact with each other. So, Dhara, I'm adding you to the screen.
Hey,
Hello,
hi
welcome.
Jaina. How are you?
I'm fine. So I would like to tell the viewers something that today Dhara is going to recite her own poetry, something she has written on her own. And let's see what she has. Over to you, Dhara.
Thank you so much, Jaina. Thank you so much. Okay. First of all, of course, I would like to thanks to every speaker circle for giving me that platform. And when Jaina she mentioned like I'm going to read something which is like my own written, then of course who person who know me they will be surprised because I am the person who is very much practical in the life who knows the value of zero and one, yes and no, right? There is no any in between, so I'm very much practical. So generally when we are talking about poem, sairi, ghazal, then it seems like not my cup of tea, but still I wanted to give my best to write my own stuff, own thing, to change my image, of course. So before that, what is my understanding about the poem that I would like to mention, and that's the main function of the poem. It is like convey an idea and emotions in the beautiful language. So I have a sum of story in the mind, and that I wanted to convey in the beautiful language way. So somehow I have mistaken of the poetry rules, so please forgive me, but yes, I have tried to put emotions over there in this my poem, and of course I will take you in that way, right? Okay, so I'm ready with the poem. So this is something like very similar to, like, if everybody aware about the Manhar Udas, one of ghazal, and that is Sant Jarokhe Vatan Rakti Rupani Rani Joyi Hati. So that was completely assumption. It was a fully assumption where somebody who is standing in the window, and what was the look and feel and what was the like completely feeling of that person who is watching him. And then after few time when he's passing from the same place and he says like everything as it is, but that girl, that beautiful girl, is she is not there, and how this complete atmosphere changed. So the way he have described it was beautiful. So I'm also going to share one of the story via this. Of course I have a few liner only, but this is the story about the there is a two character, and one character have a single side feeling for another person, and how generally it should be. So love, it is not of course to gain. Love, it is not, मतलब प्यार पानी की चीज नहीं है. That's not an end point. That's just feeling. So that is it's all about my poem says. Okay, so I'm starting with it. उनको बिना रूठे हम मनाते रहे. उनको बिना रूठे हम मनाते रहे, क्योंकि ये वन साइडेड था, राइट? कहीं दूर पहाड़ों के पीछे शायद रहने वाले, उनके वहां बिना रहे हम उनको ढूंढते रहे। ये एजम्पशन था कि वो पहाड़ों के पीछे रहते हैं। वो दूर थे, वहां तक जाना हमारे दिल की मजबूरी थी। वो दूर थे, वहां जाना हमारे दिल की एक मजबूरी थी। पर ये नादान दुनिया वाले हमारी साहसिकता के पुरस्कार देते रहे। इट वॉज नॉट अ क्लाइंबिंग, इट वॉज सर्चिंग। वो दूर थे, वहां तक जाना हमारे दिल की मजबूरी थी। पर ये नादान दुनिया वाले हमें साहसिकता के पुरस्कार देते रहे। पैर थके बट उम्मीद नहीं थकी, आहें भरी बट सांस नहीं रुकी। जैसा हमने जैसे हमने पूरी दुनिया देख ली, उनको ढूंढते हुए जैसे हमने पूरी दुनिया ढूंढ ली। पर हवाएं तो तब थम सी गई जब पीछे उनको खड़े हंसते हुए पाए। इट वॉज अ सरप्राइज। पैर थके बट उम्मीद नहीं थकी, आहें भरी बट सांस नहीं रुकी। जैसे हमने पूरी दुनिया देख ली, पर हवाएं तो तब थम सी गई जब हमने उनको पीछे हंसते हुए पाए। ना शिकायत कर पाए, ना जता पाए, हम तो हंसते चेहरे से बस खुशी के आंसू छुपाते रहे। वो एक 10 मिनट का मीटिंग था। सो ना हम शिकायत कर पाए, ना जता पाए, हम तो हंसते हुए चेहरे से खुशी के आंसू छुपाते रहे। फिर मिलते हैं कह के वो तो चले गए, बस हम उनको देखते ही रह गए। उनको बिना रूठे हम मनाते रहे। उस दिन के बाद हर पल, हर घड़ी, हर घंटा घड़ी अपना काम करती रही। समय बीतता गया। उस दिन के बाद हर पल, हर घंटे घड़ी अपना काम करती रही। भागती हुई दुनिया में वो हमारे मन में एक सुकून सा जगाते गए। ना शब्दों का, ना तोहफे का, ना वादों का, ना इरादों का, कोई भी रिश्ता नहीं है हमारा, फिर भी हम उन्हें अपना मानते रहे। उनको बिना रूठे हम मनाते रहे। That's it. That's it. What I have wrote. Jaina, over to you.
अमेजिंग अमेजिंग द फैक्ट दैट ये आपने खुद लिखा है इज रियली वंडरफुल बिकॉज जब आप ये कहते हो कि हाँ मैंने ये खुद लिखा है देन ऑल द पीपल हु आर लिसनिंग टू यू दे आर actually having an insight into your personal life that what you might be thinking at that time when what you might be feeling at that time so it was really wonderful a wonderful attempt at poetry और आपने recite भी काफी खूबसूरत तरीके से किया and I would really like to thank you Dhara. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you so much, Jaina.
Okay, everyone. So that was Dhara Masani. Did you like her poetry? You can tell us in the comments. So Dvija is saying, "Wow, Dvija, that was literally my feeling as well." Then we have Varun who says it was zabardast. It was really nice, really excellent. Thank you so much, everyone. And I would really encourage you all to listen to these poetries and help the speakers improve by encouraging them, by sharing your thoughts about their poetry in the comment section. And if you have certain questions or queries about their poetry, you can write it here as well and we'll convey it to them. So, our next speaker is someone who is very young but very talented. He is from Bangalore. He is a student of 7th standard and he likes to listen to music, do photography, reading, and wants to be an astrophysicist. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Samyak. Hi, Samyak.
Hello, ma'am, and thank you very much for the delineating introduction.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Samyak, it's your first live session. You don't have to be nervous. We are all going to encourage you and the way you recite your poetry. And I believe Samyak is also going to be talking about other aspects of analyzing the poetry, as in he's going to talk about the poet and certain other elements as well. So I would not interrupt anymore. And over to you, Samyak Roy.
Of course, ma'am. Ma'am, could you please start sharing? Okay, yes, ma'am. As ma'am has already given my introduction, let's delve right into the topic. So, the poem I'm going to be reciting is The Lotus by Toru Dutt. So, first, let me introduce you to this poem. And the poet, as I already mentioned, is Toru Dutt. She was an Indian poet living in British India. She had quite a short life because she died at the age of 21, but she achieved a lot in it. She wrote many poems and promoted Indian cultural renaissance. And if you think about it, this is all about Toru Dutt's patriotism to India with a taste of Roman mythology. Something very special about this poem is that it is a Petrarchan sonnet, which means it has two main parts. The octave. The octave states the problem being faced and it consists of 8 lines. While the second part is the sestet, and the sestet gives us a solution which is of 6 lines, and this solution is to the problem which was stated in the octave. And if you think about it, I chose this poem because it is a blend of poetry and storytelling. Here, the story of how a lotus was created, that is, of course, there, but it is described in the form of a poem. Okay, so let's delve right into the poem. Love came to Flora, asking for a flower. That would of flowers be the undisputed queen. The lily and the rose, long had been rivals for that high honor. Bards of power had sung their claims. The rose can never tower like the pale lily with her Juno mine. But is the lily lovelier? Thus, between flower factions ran the strife in Psyche's bower. Now, here, love is personified, which means it is considered to be the Roman god of love, Cupid. He came to Flora and he asked that, hey, can I have the most beautiful and the undisputed queen of flowers? So, let me brief you about him. First of all, the Roman god of love, Cupid, he's the one who you see with the bow and arrow, which is in the form of love. And Flora, she is the Roman goddess of flowers and spring. And then the poet gives a backstory of the conflict which was taking place between the rose and the lily. That I will be the queen of flowers. Will the rose be that? Or will the lily be that? And this rivalry had lasted a very long time. Here, bards of power mean great poets. The fifth line, as you can see here, bards of power had sung their claims. This is a continuation of the fourth one. And here, the flowers use their bards of power, which means the poems written by the bards of power. That one poet will write, no, the rose is more beautiful, while the other poet will write, no, the lily is more beautiful. And the rose says that this poet said that I am more beautiful, and those poets are used as tools in the fight. And the line here, the rose can never tower like the pale lily with her Juno mine. Here, if you noticed, when you hold a rose, it will always droop to one side because it is very heavy. But the lily is very light, so it will stand upright. And because of this, the lily is compared to Juno, who is the queen of gods. And it has a majestic appearance, just like the one goddess Juno has. But then a question comes to the poet's minds. Wait, is the lily really lovelier? And due to this, the flower groups, here written as flower factions, means that some flowers said that I will support the rose, and the other flowers would say, no, I support the lily. And here, this debate is taking place in Psyche's backyard. And Psyche is a beautiful princess loved by Cupid. So this ends the octave. Let's move on to the sestet. Give me a flower as delicious as the rose, and stately as the lily in her pride. But of what color? Rose red love first chose, and then prayed. No, lily white, or both provide. And Flora gave the lotus. The rose red died, and the lily white, the queenliest flower that blows. Okay, here the sestet begins, and We come back to the present. In these two lines, the first two lines, Flora is being requested by love to create such a flower which has the glamour, the deliciousness, and the beauty of the rose. And it will also have the royal and majestic look of the lily, because the rose is a symbol of romance, while lilies are the symbol of regalness and stateliness. And then they came to the most important question: what color should the flower be? So love first chose I want it to be rose red. But then it is quite obvious. The rose is already red. But then he said, why don't we make it lily white? But the lily is already white. And then he had this debate in his mind. And then he thought, why don't we make this new flower a combination of red and white? And you know what color that forms? Pink. And Flora created the lotus. It was pink in color, which was a combination of red and white, and it had the combination of the deliciousness of the rose and the majestic look of the lily. And it is said that this flower was the queenliest flower that was ever produced. Now, the lotus, as we all know, is the national flower of India. It is considered pure even if it grows in muddy water. In Hindu mythology, it is a symbol of enlightenment. And many gods often sit on a lotus flower, like goddess Lakshmi, goddess Saraswati, and Lord Brahma. Whenever you should doubt your self worth, remember the lotus flower. Even though it plunges to life from beneath the mud, it does not allow the dirt that surrounds it to affect its growth or beauty. And this quote describes what I like best about this poem. And India is a diverse country and has different people of varied interests. And because of this, India may have to go through some ups and downs. But in the history of India, there has never been a time when India has been defeated. Not militarily, but culturally. India, like the lotus flower, never lets the dirt around it affect its growth. India is developing at a rapid speed. And this is what makes India what it is today. So, thank you everyone, and I hope you like my poetry recitation.
Thank you so much, Samyak. People have been appreciating you a lot. So, Purva seems to be really impressed. Thank you so much for joining us, Purva. And someone is calling you a little champ. And I would really agree with them because personally, I'm also a fan of Toru Dutt. And let me tell the audience that Toru Dutt's poetry is very insightful. It is something which is very meaningful and a little difficult to understand. But the fact that Samyak could dive deep into it and also explain its beauty to all of us is really amazing. And we really enjoyed. Thank you so much. Someone has a lot of appreciation for you. Excellent communication, command and language, and of course, the next level confidence. What do you have to say, Samyak?
I'm really happy that everyone liked my poetry recitation. And I don't usually do this just because I want to show people. I actually do this because I want to spread knowledge and some information which benefits everyone.
That's really nice. And the sonnet you presented today was really wonderful. I would say a great choice that you have in poetry. So that was Samyak Roy. Thank you so much for joining us, Samyak, again. So, what do you think of these poetries? Samyak talked about Toru. That's poetry. Dhara recited her own poetry. So, all of our viewers, I would like to ask you, is there a particular poem that you really feel attached to, that's your favorite, or that you really feel connected to? You can let me know in the comment section and we'll have a word later. But for now, we have our third speaker who is also going to be reciting a wonderful poem. She is someone who is from Ahmedabad. She has done masters in social work. She is an experienced yoga instructor at Atman Yoga, and she runs an institute called Align 360, and she is also a mindfulness trainer there. She likes to read, write, sing, do gardening, and trekking. Please welcome Khushi Jani.
Hello, Jenna. Thank you so much.
Okay, over to you, Khushi. All the best for your recitation.
Thank you. Um, to start with, Samyak, oh my God, just blown away as I wrote there. Amazing work there. Great job there. Um, for my, and of course, now I'll move to mine. My poem that I've picked here is my all time favorite. Zena just asked about our all time favorite, and this one is mine. I spoke about it the last time when I recited a poem here. So, going continuing from there, I bring to you If. If is written by Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling was an English poet, and he's actually born in India, colonial India, in Mumbai. He's the author of what's that, Jungle Book. He's the one who's written that one, and this poem is like. It's like a father writing a letter to his son, where he's trying to give his those advice how to live life and how to become a great man. So here's If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for the doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. Here comes my favorite part. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you have spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither false nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, Khushi, wonderful. Rudyard Kipling is an all-time favorite, and there are many works which all of us should check out. And this poem was really insightful. So, would you like? What's your perspective of this poem? Because it's a really important poem that kind of steps in to fill the generation gap, right? That's what the theme is all about, as an encouragement and sort of motivating as well. So, what's your take on it? We'd like to know.
This poem, I studied it when I was in seventh grade, right? It was in
Okay.
my school's written curriculum. And ever since then, it's been with me. I just, grabbed it, and it's like, this has become my mantra. And then the second stanza, when I just said, if you can dream and not let your dreams become your master, that line is like, it's etched in my head like anything. And that's what I take from this entire thing, that go ahead, live your life, yes, do everything, but do not become slave to your aims and ambitions, because there's a lot that will come. You'll become something, and then suddenly it will all be gone, and then what?
Right.
No? Just hold on. So it's an amazing one. It's an amazing one.
That's amazing. I would say that your choice of poetry is really amazing, and I also came to know about your favorite. I mean, where your line of interest goes. So we have a lot of appreciation for you as well. You always make live sessions so pleasing. That's true. That's facts.
Thank you.
Okay. So
Welcome.
again, thank you so much. I'm really happy that you joined us here. Thank you so much. It was lovely having you here.
Pleasure. Pleasure.
All right, so that's it for today. But I would like to know from the audience, what's your take on poetry? See, it's like a two-way process. We are not just here on one-sided communication. So all of you might be thinking that this is a platform that focuses mainly on public speaking. So why do you guys have poetry recitation sessions? Well, I would like to say that there's something I learned this year that was really, really true when it came to poetry. Matthew Arnold, a poetry critic, used to believe that poetry always leads mankind towards learning. And in the future times to come, mankind will have to emotionally or mentally rely on poetry in order to find the true qualities that we hold within. Also, we are again having a lot of appreciation for the speakers. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. So that is why once in a month we gather here to celebrate poetry, and even most of us, excuse me, most of us also write various forms of poetry. And it's not necessary that it's only English poetry that is beautiful, or it's only Shakespeare and sonnets that are beautiful. We have various forms of poetry in different languages. We have shairi, we have doha, then in Japanese poetry we have haiku, we have sonnets, we have kavita, we have so many things. And there are many poets that you can find online. You can read their work, and it's like it serves a two-way purpose. Firstly, poetry always seems to entertain you, as in when you want to find some deep meaning, pleasure, poetry is always there for you. And secondly, it also gives you something back in the form of advice, in the form of motivation, or simply it acts as a mirror which reflects your thoughts. As in, if you want to feel attached to something, you go to poetry. And also, I would encourage you all to try writing poetry like Dhara did today, because that is something really good when you put your thoughts on the paper in a rhythm. So, let us know how you found this session. Was it interesting to you? What kind of sessions do you expect from us? And we'll be back next Thursday with another live session. So do join us, Speaker Circle. Again, I would like to remind everyone that it's a platform where we support each other, where we help each other learn communication skills, public speaking skills, and a lot of other skills. You can also join us as a visitor or as a member. You'll find the link in the description, and we'll add you on WhatsApp, and you'll be added to a WhatsApp group, and there's where you'll get updates about all of our meetings and all of our live sessions and what activities we do there. And you can obviously participate. You can be a speaker here, you can be a speaker in one of our meets. We have an online meet almost every Sunday, and we have an offline meet in Ahmedabad once in a month. So looking forward to have you all there. Thank you so much. With this, I'm signing off, and it has been a lovely time with all of you. Thank you.